Well, The Expanse is a show that continues to keep firing on all cylinders with the episode Tribes, which demonstrates the problems here and one's grievances and what have you. So one can make an argument, certainly, and they do display it here, and they display the divisions within the community of the Belters, that you've got legitimate grievances there. But you can get the attention of the other side through various means, but Marco decided to drive an aircraft carrier through. so any discussion is over. The lesson is one that is taught throughout history and humanity, but it is often not really learned. Recent events sometimes you make the mistake of giving your opposition the sword by which they can slay you. So that's what Marco has done here. He's a bit delusional in this aspect. He says, oh, we've got a solution for establishing their own agricultural base with which to feed the Belters. Do you? Because he's all planning out his attack, and he thinks he's a brilliant genius in that. But I think all that's going to fall apart. You might have should have made sure you've got that food basis already set up when you were dependent on Earth to provide food, because it's a planet and you're living in spaceships and rocks. With maybe a greenhouse here and there that could grow something, but it's not a great position to be in, and all that. But so anyway, that's where they are. So Holden managed to survive the sneak attack that he had left behind. So the Rossi is on its way, and he's Marco's spitting mad because he knows how terrible a threat that ship is. That plan failed, so he's like, all right, that's it, I've had it with Naomi, toss her out the airlock. And that's where the division, because despite the split within their group there's still affection for Naomi, and Marco himself is clearly there. He won't admit it. Of course, his son is divided, even though he's mad at his mother. He's obviously attached to her. He can't bring himself to outright kill her, and he's hoping for some kind of relationship, and obviously in his dream of dreams is that he can convince her that his dad's side is the right and bring her in and all that sort of stuff. And of course, I'm forgetting his name, the big old guy, he's known her all his life, and he makes the valid point, and he calls Marco out on this, this is, you want to kill her, you do it. And that's a very good point, and that's also questioning his authority. So this puts him in a big nasty position. Of course, his muscle woman says, he should have just told me to do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat. She never liked Naomi anyway. But of course, the reason he's delegating it is because he can't bring himself to do it. He doesn't want to kill Naomi. But as mad as he is at her because she's managed to save Holden, and that's put him in severe danger here. Meanwhile, another danger, he's invited right into his place here with Drummer, but Drummer is in a bad position herself. The Belters are, for all intents and purposes, cut off, so any of them that would have agreed or have some sympathy for what Earth just went through, that's probably over with. And so now they're like, what do we do? Where do we go? And so the only protection would be Marco's Navy, which they're stunned to see the ships he has. Well, Bobby could have told you what that's about. But yeah, Drummer is, and Marco knows this, but there again is a delicate balance, because she's a bit of a hero to the Belters herself, and what do? He would like to make use of her, of course, but it's one of those situations where he's got to balance it. If he can get her in a fault and reveal her to be some sort of traitor or whatnot, then he can eliminate her. But as it is, he might have to just keep her there. Meanwhile, her own people are plotting against her, even her own girlfriend, which I guess was just a bang buddy. She's done moved on to some dude. And they're like, oh man, I hope she doesn't do the wrong thing. Oh, it's like we don't have a choice here. She's just got to come around. And that's too bad about Ashford, but you know, yeah, she's not. No, she's seething with rage and wanting to avenge the old man. And she's looking for her chance. And oddly enough, she surprisingly sees it in Philip, or Philip, however you want to pronounce it. And she recognizes, as soon as you see, I mean, you look at him, you can see Naomi. It's very good casting. And she's like, holy crap, that's him. You know? And so she doesn't know how or why or what, but she's already seeing, the wheels are turning in her head that, oh yeah, this might be the way to get to Marco, you know. So we'll see how that unfolds. It's setting up for the redemption of Philip. I mean, because like he has this confrontation with his mother, and she's pointing it all out. You know what you did. You know, you just flagrantly killed millions. It had nothing to do with the problems for the Belters and all that. And now you're worse than the people of the inners, they call them, of Earth and Mars, who abused you. You're far worse than they ever were. And that's a problem he's in. I mean, I suppose if he turns on his father and saves the day, sacrifices his life in the cause, that's some redemption. Or if he survives it all, he can, I don't know, join a monastery or something to atone for his sin. Short of that, yeah, for him to just survive all of this and then meet a girl and have a family of his own, yeah. Nah. So there's a cool action scene, and what happens with Bobby and Alex, that's really good stuff. Don't know how scientifically accurate it is, but there is that scene where Alex just, you know, you got to time that just right to leap back to your ship, and but it looked believable. So, you know, it depends on. He's got a little some computers and monitors in his helmet, so I guess he judged when he only had seconds to make up his mind. But they're back in business there. It was brief, but it was cool. And then in the other story that they, well, of course, as of Varela, she's obviously going to become back in power. With the not president, general secretary apparently dead. I don't know if they determined that or not, but her ship was knocked out by the explosion. And so the line of succession would go down whoever's left, and it fell to some bureaucrat guy who won an office because he just didn't like the guy who held, or something like that, who never intended to achieve any great heights of power, but as it happens, he's now in charge. Well, of course, we know who will really be calling the shots, because he's basically, hey, could you come be a part of my team? He's like, oh, well, thank you. Yes, I would. So she wants the power, of course, but boy, what a way to get it, huh? Well, it's not like she did it or anything. In fact, he made the point. It's like, you're the only one who had any idea that something was up, and you may not like the woman, but she's the best one for the job. You know, it's certainly when it comes to security and whatnot. So there you go for her. Then the long-winded date between Amos and Clarissa. Poor Amos. He's so unlucky in love. He had a good thing. They killed her. I don't know if you can ever say that there was any romantic interest with Naomi. I think they pretty well established that she was more or less the sister he never had type thing. But now he's, I mean, come on. I think the signs are there that there's some romance in the weirdest possible way. The sparking between him and She-Hulk there. So they've survived, and they're trekking through, but everything's a disaster, and it's every man for himself. And he explains, well, we're going back to the wild now, and everything's paranoid and whatnot. And so he actually plots to kill a guy who, for all intents and purposes, he did the wrong thing, and that's what they do. Now, the guy was going to kill Amos no matter what. Amos was going to try to lure him into the woods, claiming he had a water recyclery or whatever. Of course, he didn't. He's going to lure him into the woods so he could kill him and get his weapons and supplies, because he needed it. Because why? he wants to save Clarissa. She's going to die out there in the woods. She's suffering from her condition and all that, and her, enhancement. I forget what it's called. It's in her. But the guy's got the drop on him pretty much, and he tells him to strip. He has to do that to prove he doesn't have any weapons, and it's like, unless I have a gun up my ass, what else is there? And it's pretty much over. The guy said, yeah, well, I can find that recycling on my own. So he's about ready to shoot him. Lo and behold, here comes She-Hulk, and boy, she goes completely frenzy on the guy. Blood splatters. And even Amos for a brief moment is shocked. And maybe at that moment he finally decided, I'm in love. So they get the guy's house. He claimed he had a son in there, but no, that was just a prop. And so they get his stuff, and there it is. And then there's a tender moment where she talks in her sleep and everything, and so there you go. There's that. But it's so well performed and all delivered, and the stakes and the suspense is maintained there as we go forward. I imagine something along the lines that Marco is going to be cornered, and he's going to try to pull some desperate move with the proto-molecule in the end. I have not read the book, so I have no idea how that'll go, but I think that's probably a likely direction. As to who will get the chance to kill him, whether it's Drummer, whether it's Naomi, whether it's his son. I doubt if it'll be Holden, but certainly the ship battles, that'll be interesting to see. Reminiscent of Star Trek and whatnot. So yeah, like I said, firing on all cylinders. The absolute best show in science fiction today. Nothing else comes close to it. And check it out. I can't recommend it enough. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.